Hey everyone, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share this book with you. It is 6x12 Project Life, the first volume for my family, and it covers all the way through March. I included lots of inserts in here just because I knew that if I tried to do them in a different project or a separate project, I may never get to them. So let's dive right in. So for the beginning of the year, I had a 9x12 Studio Calico transparency. I trimmed it down and then used an Ali Edward Stories by the Month add-on to put right there. And then I just did a fun job description for all of us, and then just a simple black and white photo from New Year's Eve. Okay, so this is just January 1st, I believe, or just a couple days in January, and I decided to use Everyday Explorers stamps digitally, so I made all of these cards that you see here with the digital stamps. And I love how the color scheme is really kind of funky and bright and bold. I pulled the colors directly from my photos in Photoshop Elements, and then I just used the prompts in one of the stamps, and then I used this as a prompt, and so it's just a lot of fun to put together with the digital stamps. The next one uses the Stories by the Month from Ali Edwards, so I kind of did a rotation of those two, so Everyday Explorers and Ali Edwards. For me, that works. Like just one or two different makers of products works for me. So this one I stuck with blues and greens, and I also pulled out a really old notepad to journal on two of the photos. Like this photo here had a lot of negative space, so I was able to add quite a few things on there. This is a Everyday Explorers project that I did for our snow trip that we took in January, obviously, and I made a title card with a bunch of little tags on it. Stories by the Month, another one. I did a fun green and yellow color scheme because I had green and yellow in several of my photos. And since this is a special family album, I get all my photos printed through Persnickety Prints. And what I did is for this one, digitally, I had this card, and so I just put the photos in here, had it printed just like this through Persnickety, and then I just trimmed everything out and put it down on there. So that was a really fun little card to make. This next one is from the Action Story Kit, and I pulled the reds and pinks and yellows from this kit to document this week. I even took the digital chipboard and added some of my own backing to it to make it look like real chipboard. And then the next one also uses the Action Story Kit, but this time I focus only on the blues. And I had to add a tab right here because I had just a few more stories that I wanted to include. The next one is a January recap and a February opening, and I decided to once again play with my Everyday Explorer stamps and come up with my own journaling cards to recap the month. So I did this pattern going diagonal and then a bunch of black stamps right there, some arrows scattered, and then highlights and challenges. And then this one was a little simpler. I had a few more photos, so I only made one card and then used a ColorCast Designs piece. This next one uses the Ali Edwards Kindness Digital Kit, and I was thrilled to finally have a use for the Kindness Kit. I don't know why. I don't think I used that kit that much, but I really wanted to try to use it as part of a story kit crush, and I had the colors in my photos that coordinated well. How it came out. It's very pretty, and I love the color scheme. Okay, this next one was a fun insert to make my own cards, once again from Everyday Explorers. I did pull in two cards from Ali Edwards. I think they're hybrid product play cards. But we took a trip to Marine World and I had so many photos, I decided to make some inserts. Because like I said in the beginning of this video, if I'd tried to save these photos for a time when I could put together like a mini book, I know I would never get to it. It would just be on my list of to-dos. So a insert was perfect. So the next page is Valentine's Day week, and I actually edited the photos to be a little bit warmer, and I really like that look. I also had an older set of Ali Edwards brushes that I used, and I took one of the 3x4 journaling cards and cut it up to make labels so I could journal little snippets on the photos. And since this is Valentine's Day week, we had some extra photos, so I included those. Two little stories here and just several stories that just needed their own 6x8 insert. And then of course I took some photos of my kids for Valentine's Day, but they are getting older, and my tactic of please take a picture for Grandma and Oma it works, but I get lots of hilarious outtakes, as you can see. So I included both in there, and then also the story. And then this is the rest of the week. You can see my husband, I was gonna get a picture of the donuts, and then I look up and I see him looking like that. So now it's in our family album and everyone can see forevermore. The next one was the Connect story kit, and it was a story kit crush because I was trying to use the kit. I think it was a more current kit at the time. And I just love the soft greens and pinks. They work really well with my photos, and I had a lot of fun putting this one together. I also have this one, 2 photos of my kids getting along during the week and hanging out together. Another adventure that we took in February was to go hiking, and it was a beautiful hike, a beautiful area, so I took a lot of photos and then just included them in here. And what I did is I did a mixture of digital Everyday Explorers and physical. So this is digital right here, and I used the Everyday Greenery and then printed that card out. And I used that same card right here. So I used it twice. And then this is a card as well that I made. And same thing with this one. This one's actually a favorite card. I love how it turned out. It looks like a real card you might buy or something. I'm just proud of myself that I can come up with these creative ways to use the stamps. So you have this full 6x12 insert, then a paper cardstock insert, then a 6x8 insert, and then the finishing of the 6x12 insert. So I'm really glad, I know I keep saying it, but I'm really glad that I documented these hikes and adventures, because many years I haven't documented them because I've waited for, you know, a special project or to just wait to do it all together in one big album. But now it's all in here and it has one home. So that is one thing that I'm really enjoying about Project Life, is getting these adventures into the album. This is the end of February, and I used the Stories by the Month kit. I pulled out the pinks and the grays and the blues. And then I had vertical 4x6 photos that I wanted to include. My husband and daughter looking at a lizard, and then I partnered with Pick Foams and I got to do a photo wall. And then my son, it has massive feet. And just like due to the upside down life, we hadn't gotten his feet measured in a while, and he has men's shoes now, and it was very surprising. But I just love all the photos that I got this week, and I tried out a 3x3 page protector and then just cut down this journaling card to add in some notes. I'm not too worried when I do these journaling cards about getting every last detail. I just make sure I get the bullet points, and I don't worry about grammar either, or, you know, writing a long essay. I just want to make sure I get the important pieces of the week. And then this is the end of February. I did another photo of the gallery wall, snuggling with my kids. I think my mom actually captured this when we were on FaceTime, and so I was able to pull it from that screen capture. And then we really liked the Muppets. We found this show on Disney Plus that was like behind the movie and behind the scenes. And so we kind of watched that, and then we decided, you know what, let's watch the Muppets. And we did. We all enjoyed it. And that's always a win when you have a teenager, right? And I used another one of the labels that I had left over, and I stamped several hearts, fussy cut them out. So I did a mixture of sticker hearts, chipboard hearts, and stamp hearts. And then this is March, and I made it very simple. I had 2 photos of my daughter working on her walrus report. So I decided to just put them in here in the front, since that was a big focus for the month. And then just a little snippet of what went on during this month. And also 2 coordinating stickers right there. Okay, this one's kind of funny. I don't think I showed you guys this Project Life spread because I finished it right after the Cruella movie came out, and I didn't intend for the start of March to look like a February type of spread with all the reds and blacks, but it did, and to me now reminds me of Cruella. But you know, what can you do? So I used the Stories by the Month kit and stamped several phrases and cut them out onto the cards. Did a border here, and then just included 5 stories. Very simple and to the point. This is a recent page where we went to the flower farm, and I decided to just do 2 cards using my Everyday Explorers stamp sets to make my cards. So this next one was a very big week. It has the left and the right, and then a full 4x6 horizontal insert. So I talked about life 1 year later, you know, how it's going and what's the same and what's different. And then my daughter losing a tooth. I think it was her first or second one, so she was very excited. Seeing a rainbow, my daughter having a get-together. And then the zoos opened up. You just had to make sure you reserved a ticket to get into the zoos. My husband and son were able to eat in an actual restaurant, so they actually sent me selfies. So that's how monumentous it was that they sent me a selfie. So, you know, there you go. My son working with his friend as they did distance learning. Another show that we absolutely loved, all of us, The Secrets of Sulphur Springs. My husband and son wrestling with their feet. And then I just used this card to do 10 stories, and I loved that because it let me use a ton of photos, but I was still able to write down all the stories that I wanted to include about the week. This next one was a really fun one, very colorful and bright, and I went with the Everyday Explorers stamp sets. So this one is another card that I was showing you earlier. It's the March looks like this. But I just used March from Everyday Explorers, and then I stamped the week. And this one I just did lots of messy stamping digitally. This one, same thing, and I just layered in some stamps and also a half circle. I made a digital prompt list, but as you can see, my pen, I just could not get a pen to work, so that's turned out kind of messy. This was a special week, so I had to use the Hope kit because my kids were able to go back to school for 2.5 hours, 2 days a week. It was a long 17 months, 377 days before they were able to go into a classroom. So it was very hopeful. It was a bright ray of sunshine this week. So I used several of the flowers and the good stuff, and then talked about my son splitting the cost of an Xbox, and then a photo of them returning to school, and then just my daughter. And then since I was working on Project Life 2019, I had a photo of my son like this, and then I recreated it right here, and there's just a massive, massive growth right there. I die cut the hopeful and layered it on top, and it's put together. So I just love it. One of my favorite layouts in here. And then this last spread was my son's birthday. He turned 12, and I usually do an insert, but I'm not sure if I shared this 'cause I don't know if I like how the color scheme turned out, but I was kind of going off of his shirt and then the other colors. But I just did kind of then and now photos. My son and I, on the actual day of his birthday, he recreated this photo when I was going through photos of him. Just as a teenager, my son is just so hilarious. So I added in this little 3x4 insert, and I documented some more photos of the day, and then I just forgot to have him write his friends' names. I'd rather him write them than me. Then the last page is just a recap of March, washi tape, paper, and some stamps. Easy peasy and done. So there you go. That is the first 3 months of my family's project life, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing all these pages come together in the process video and now this walkthrough. I'd love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you want to keep seeing my videos. All right, have a great day. Bye.